So welcome to another tech video. It's been a while. Unfortunately I've been suffering from the COVID lurgy, so I'm just about back to full strength and health now. So I've got a repair for you to do today. This one is one of the new Dell Inspiron 5000 series laptops. So this is the one where the back panel hinge is actually part of the screen, so it's an advanced repair to change the LCD panel. Important bit, you can hear it clicking. So you know that's raised it up off the back, which is what you want to do. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a small prizer tool. We're going to work our way from the back and slide that down the sides. Once you've got the initial one done, you can put a wider tool in and that will unclip it all the way down. And around the side, there we go. Once you've got it around the side, we can then take it and run it along the back, and then the cover should just lift off. Okay, yep, so there is one clip in the middle. It's always a bit tricky. So inside here we've got our battery that we're going to disconnect, and that goes up to the main board up here. We're just going to prise out the sides using our prizer tool. That comes all the way out. Like that. And then we're going to remove our battery. The battery should just lift away then. Put that to one side. Right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to disconnect the screen. So this is the screen connector down here. And we're going to remove the sticker that we've got on top of it. Carefully. Like that. There we go, lift that bracket up, and then that just slides out. So now we've got that disconnected. We're going to remove the hinge assembly. I'm going to take off the whole front panel. So we've got 3 screws here, and we've got 3 screws here. Okay. Now I can carefully remove the main board from top board. Okay, so the plan now will be to get under here again with a little prizer tool. There we go, it's slowly coming out. Okay, so that is actually stuck down. So what we want is we want to use our little mini cutter wheel just to run round the edge and break the seal, because that seems to be using an adhesive tape to stick this down. It doesn't matter about the old screen. There we go. Okay. Okay, and there we have it. So that is, okay, so this bracket is actually need gluing back on there. As you can see here, the level of the sticky stuff. So we are going to have to clean that up and remove that and replace it with a thin bead of adhesive, which you can see will run all the way around the inside there. So we're going to remove all of that. So let's do that first so that we've got clear area to reattach that. We're going to remove the double-sided tape that's holding this on. There we go. And again on the bottom, because we're going to have to replace this. There we go. And they've blocked up the webcam with the webcam hole with some blue tack, so we're going to remove that as well. We are going to put their sticker back on top of the webcam, but we're just going to remove it for now. There we go. I'm going to put that now clean part to one side, and then we're going to tackle getting this panel out. Okay, let's remove all of the tape that we've got going around there. Okay, I think we're going to have to peel this away. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get one edge in the corner, and we're going to run this prizer tool up underneath it to break the seal, because it looks like, again, it's stuck onto the back cover. There we go. And now we can, yeah. That's it. That's that side released. And we're going to do this side as well. So we can pull it. Okay. That's it. That's it. Up and off. Okay, so now we can get that panel unstuck and carefully remove. What we want to do now on this side is just release this clip. And again, we're going to lift up the tape under this piece of tape carefully, because we want to put that back on if we can. Once that's freed, then we can lift up the catch like that, and then that will come away. Right, so that's that bit now, and let's get this double-sided tape cleaned off here like that. Okay, now we want to double check to make sure that our new panel is correct. Perfect. Okay, so let's make sure that that all sits in there nicely, which it does. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to reattach the connector. Okay. Yep, there we go. One, two corners over the top, and then the tape. I'm going to have to put some fresh tape on there. Like that. That's going to hold that down. Right, so before we get all of the cabling redone, what we now need to do is to get some double-sided tape, and we're going to be using some 3M double-sided adhesive. So what we're going to do is we're going to prop the screen up and just double check where we need to run it. We can see where we need to run it. And we're going to put 2 strips down the sides in the correct place. So this is 3M VHB tape, really strong. We use this for Mac repairs as well, Mac screen repairs. Cut that off there. There we go. All right. Okay, I want to make sure that that is all nice and sealed in, which it is. So once you're confident you've got it in the right place and your cable's all seated and it's definitely connected correctly, which it is, you can go ahead and, as you can see under here, the 3M tape down the side there, we're going to remove the top layer. And we're going to do it on the other side as well before we actually stick one side down. There we go. And then we can peel one off. And peel the other one off. And we want to make sure that this is in exactly the correct place. There we go. And now we can gently press that down. We're going to use a soft cloth for this, run it down the sides. And don't be alarmed at the fingerprints and stuff all over this. There's a protective sleeve on the top here, making sure that you're not scratching the screen at all and the screen remains clean. So that's the screen fitted. Now comes the next tricky part. So you remember on this, we've got a clip that we need to get back on there, so we're going to use just a small amount of super glue on that bracket, and that will just sit in there like that. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. So we've got the screen all installed or stuck down, so we're going to move that to the side, and then the bezel that we had around the screen, we've stuck this hinge back on because that had broken off. And what I've done is we've got some double-sided VHB tape running in certain areas. So we've got 2 strips up the top here, strip down the bottom, and 1 strip across the bottom, down the sides and down the bottom. So this will now go on here. Now, what I'm not sure about at the moment is whether we're going to be able to, once this goes on here, whether we're going to be able to actually peel that off the screen. Probably not, which is a bit of a pain. So that means we're going to have to do the peel first. So that means once we've done the peel, we're going to have to be extra especially careful around how we attach all of this back in there. So let's get the peel done. Let's get this removed off our matte surface screen. There we go. We can put that to one side with all of the remains from the tape over there. And then the next thing we're going to do is we won't need to take off the other side of the tape from these sections that we've stuck down. So I know that the hardest one to get off is going to be this top one. So we've got 2 top ones up the top. So we're going to carefully just lift that up, remove that. There we go. And then on the sides here, I take that off, and this one here, in case you're wondering, these have come from a Mac screen replacement kit. that we haven't used. There we go. So we're going to take that screen now, and we're going to have to be very careful on how we do this. So the hinges need to go into place. Like that. So the important bit is to get the hinges in the correct place. There we go. And then we can get the rest of the panel clipped in. And along the side, pressed in and sealed. Like that. And sealed all the way around. Make sure that that is all clipped in correctly. You obviously don't want to press too hard because you don't want to damage it. Alright, so that is the screen now reattached. Clip this bit in. There we go. Right, so now we've got the screen sorted. We need the base unit. So the base of the device, we're actually going to turn that around this way. We're going to have to be very, very careful at this point. So that's that shut, and then all the way open. So we want to go in under there, like that. So now we've got the laptop all positioned together. We can close these hinges down, making sure they go into the right place. We've got our cable here, which is good. And again, we're going to get this positioned in the right place. That all closes down. And then we can get these put back together. So, over on this side, just in this one here, we had a smaller depth screw, so we need to make sure that that goes back in the same place. The rest of the screws are all the same size. So one on here, and we'll go around and make sure that they're done up properly in a minute. So we're going to use a slightly bigger Phillips screwdriver now, just to get a bit more tightness on them. Making sure they're all done up nice and tight. There we go. Then the last thing is to reattach this LCD cable. Okay, that seems to be in there, and then we need to get this bracket placed over the top and sides, making sure that that is making a good connection, which it is. And then we can reseal that with a bit more tape. Okay, there we go. So we're going to take that tape and place that to the left. A bit more tape. Place that over to the right. So that is now sealed down. And the next thing we want to do is we want to take our battery. We're going to reconnect our battery. We do that by carefully taking the edge and shimming it in like that. Then we take our battery screws, 4 of those, 5 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there we go. And now we take our back panel, just pop that on. Clip that in. Take our screwdriver and re-screw in these back 2 corner screws. Right, so that's now completed. That's all back together. Moment of truth. Let's have a look at the screen. Okay, so that all looks okay. Got a little bit of mank on it, but from what I can see, that seems to be turning on okay. What we want to do is give it a clean. And there we go. That's one screen replaced without damaging it. And then the webcam up here, everything lines up correctly, which is great. Oh, that's one thing that I did say I was going to do. I was going to replace her little webcam cover. So I'm just going to pop that back on there like that for her. So I've not been able to find a video on how to, basically when I was researching how to do this, couldn't find one on the internet at all. Now the key to this video is this hinge here, where you have to take the screen, the whole screen off to be able to change it. The only other video that I've seen was where they changed the whole top assembly, but this is how you would change just the LCD panel. It is pretty fiddly. I would class it as an advanced repair. So unless you are a repair shop, if you're trying to do this yourself, don't. You will damage your machine. So that was a pretty fiddly repair, I have to admit. You know, unless you, if you don't want to undertake that yourself, then by all means bring it over to us. We will do it for you, as we're now fully aware of what we need to do. So this was a bit of a learning exercise for us, but if you're doing it, take your time, really think about what you're doing and how things are attached, and you shouldn't have too much of an issue. If you found that video useful, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just want to say thank you for watching and your continued support, and we'll see you in the next one.